Hey everyone, MikMage here. Welcome back to Oxenfree. Today we are going to be collecting all of the anomalies and collecting all of the Adler letters. I've also made a map of each of the locations, both for the anomalies and for the Adler letters. Anomalies can be found at each of these locations along the map at their specific rock piles. And here's a closer look at the Adler letters in the order in which Maggie wrote them. I tried to put the markers as close as they actually are when you go to the locations. And make sure to check in the description below for any of these specific collectibles. Alright, let's go! The first anomaly along our roadmap can be found at the top of the cliffs at the data annex when you use the number 63 on your radio to open the wall-locked door. Here is the first of two rock anomalies found at Epiphany Fields. This one is lower next to the lighthouse, and it's in between 105 and 106.
How many of you are there?
Here's the next anomaly found in Epiphany Fields, in between 102 and 103.
The island is famously named after Colonel Caleb Edwards for his glorious and triumphant slaughtering of countless families during one of the great ethnic cleansings of the 20th century. The forceful removal of an ignorant people to make space for destined holders is a time-honored tradition in our still young country. And you will be a part of that heritage, Alex. Do not resist. It will be over soon.
The Woods anomaly can be found near the north entrance towards the bridge stand between 103 and 104 on the radio.
It'll be good having somebody else here to watch after the grounds, Bill.
I was at Park Warden in Grants Pass, so this will be old hat to me. William Marshall, a local park ranger working in Edwards Forest, killed himself today after what his wife describes as a years-long battle with depression. His body was found hanging from a tree in the...
One of the two anomalies at the bridge stand is found near the graveyard, around 99 to 100 on the radio.
If indeed he find fault with anything, or expose it, with charity, the abbot shall discuss it prudently.
Lest perchance God has sent him for this very thing.
The second anomaly is found near the waterfall as you head towards the Catbird Station.
Well, how do you know you're Bobby Dunbar?
I know who I am, and I know who you are, and nothing else makes a difference.
The anomaly at the campgrounds is found just below where we will find the Adler letter later on.
Yesterday, the remains of 4 bodies were discovered in 2 cars submerged west of Cape Mears. How the cars got in the water, no one...
The other anomaly at the campgrounds is found near the bench in the northeast corner. The only anomaly at the relay point can be found after you drop down from this ledge in between 106 and 107.
Teddy also registered images on objects, places, and persons on magnetic tape, taking into consideration the impossibility of...
You will notice this wall-locked door in the facilities at Fort Milner, with the passcode on the radio being around 131. Let's take a look inside. It seems that there's nothing much here except this anomaly, so let's find it.
Something keeps touching my leg in the water, and I don't know what it is. Can we just go into the cave now?
No, sure. I just want you to have a good time. Wait, I think there's something down there.
Wait, Jason, don't trip. There's a... Jason?
Another Fort Milner anomaly can be found in between these two buildings.
Every individual it is maintained is enveloped in a radiance invisible to the carnal eye and only perceived by the soul accustomed to it.
Our final anomaly can be found near the shooting range at the entrance of Fort Milner.
Low-frequency radio wave is incident upon a body of radio waves travel forever until it is absorbed by matter or a person.
The first Adler letter that Maggie wrote can be found here at the lighthouse next to the cliffs.
Turn on the Lima, India, Golf, Hotel, Tango. For the ships coming home.
Take all those letters combined and you get light for the lighthouse.
I didn't know Maggie grew up in Maine.
There's a similar statue of a soldier in Maine where I grew up. My memory of it is, I think, part of the reason why I said yes when the Army recruited me out of college, despite my family's protestations. Anna, my closest friend from childhood, was, of course, thrilled at the possibility of my escape. I anonymously started the petition in 1975 to have this one made after the daughter of Kanaloa crewman Francis Salter asked. I don't know why. A marker, maybe, for the hope I once had to help people. The Adler letter at Fort Milner can be found
Under the ladder, below the Tango, Oscar, Whiskey, Echo, Romeo.
under the tower.
The communication school here taught them how to make codes.
Recruits learned communications technology here, and several others learned code breaking. It's true. But due to my aptitude in math and mechanical engineering, I was assigned code making, specifically ciphers with which to conceal projects from even other government agencies. It was a job I grew increasingly uncomfortable with, but my keen interest in radio science had me pulling double duty as a comms officer. I remember one of the Kanaloa's engineers, Francis, calling me a radio woman. As far as he knew, it was my only job. Here's the next hint for the Adler letter at the hardened tower.
Memories would fade. Without this, Papa, Lima, Alpha, Quebec, Uniform, Echo.
Put all the first letters together and you get plaque.
Oh, she was working at the tower the morning they sank.
I was on watch duty in the tower when it happened, having just gotten back from an early leave for the reading of my father's will. For years, I childishly blamed him for this, too, his one last act against me. But it was nobody's fault, or decision, but my own. I'm sure it was Francis Salter who sent the Kanaloa's distress signal. It had been cut off, I still don't know why, and I hastily interpreted the garbled transmission as an attempt to jam radar. And so, I sent back the guidebook recommendation, to scout and bomb, if necessary. We can find our fourth Adler letter located outside of the park's office where we first found the wall radio.
Everything becomes a Alpha, November, Tango, India, Quebec, Uniform, Echo, eventually.
Everything becomes an antique eventually, so the letter can be found in between the two buildings next to the antique shop.
Oh my god, the Kanaloa was destroyed by friendly fire? We've been lied to all this time.
The USS Walter Roy, a destroyer escort, sunk the USS Kanaloa with friendly fire on October 25th, 1943. It had held a developmental nuclear reactor in its belly and had been sent out weeks earlier as a test of its capabilities. Relatively few even know of its existence, which tripled the base's confusion when the submarine's communications had been cut. No one outside of a handful of us would have ever known the truth. I would discover later that a weapons technician of the Walter Roy had been at Francis Salter's wedding. Salter was an engineer on the Kanaloa. I don't know why, but it's strange to me. If you tune into Maggie Adler's radio frequency again, you will notice
Time for Fina, Lima, Echo, Echo, Papa. In the middle of things.
that it's time for sleep.
Oh, it says that the The base first found the ghost's messages here.
The first transmissions from the lost soldiers were recorded here by a signal officer training new recruits. I heard about it soon after. Yes, word of the childlike, almost playful messages spread quickly, but the broadcasts were usually dismissed as an ongoing prank, faulty equipment, or AM stations bouncing off the Midland. However, after I successfully decoded one as a mayday from Calvin Gilbert, an electrician who perished on the USS Kanaloa, I knew it had to be something more. The next Adler letter can be found here at the top of the cliffs.
At the top of the hill, in the Charlie, Oscar, Lima, Oscar, Romeo, Echo, Delta field.
In the colored field or these colored bushes, and it'll be on the left side.
That woman, Marianne Bozick, helped her transcribe the ghost's transmissions.
Marianne Bozick, forever engraved on the command annex's memorial plaque, was a kind, humble woman who helped me decode the ghost's unusual messages. I don't think she ever really believed my hypothesis that they were relays from the sunken submarine, even though she corresponded with, as she put it, a man named Calvin, an electrician who died on the Kanaloa. I pieced together the truth, the cover-up, and my own tragic mistake that killed him and his mates over months of careful deciphering. When you tune in to the Adler frequency at the old communication school, you will hear,
If you want directions, this, Golf, Uniform, India, Delta, Echo, can help.
the hint of a guide, which is found right here.
Maggie brought her friend Anna here to help, I guess.
When people in the comms department began transferring off, I was able to convince my higher-ups, including, coincidentally, one eventual Army passenger aboard the Kanaloa, Henry Griffin, to bring Anna on board as a replacement. Anna had been working in broadcasting, so it made enough sense to the upper ranks. Incidentally, when I dream, it is usually during this time period, amidst the change, and I am trying to prevent Anna from ever coming. Here's the hint for the Adler letter at the bridge stand.
We'll lose their names and give them to Golf, Romeo, Alpha, Victor, Echo, Cena.
And give them to Graves.
She thinks that the ghosts were pushed out of our reality and maybe aren't actually dead?
My belief, bolstered by Anna's and my research conducted largely at the Catbird Station where interruptions were rare, is that the men and women of the USS Kanaloa were separated from our dimensional existence by the implosion of the submarine's nuclear reactor. I identified one passenger, Henry, by his call sign, and his confused diction and reliance on game logic says to me that their emotional states, if not mental states, had been reduced to that of children, a thought I cling to when I envision Anna's demise. Here's the hint for the Adler letter located at the campgrounds.
A non-stop for review at the cliffs. Lima, Echo, Foxtrot, Tango, Edge.
Find stop for review at the left
Oh,
edge.
Maggie thought that the way the ghosts can talk to us and vice versa is waves.
Anna and I frequently conducted tests at what was once the East Barracks here during the brutal winter of '51. Waves of any kind, radio, nuclear, electromagnetic, seemed able to pass through all existences under certain circumstances, which explained our ability to get communiques sent from them. This might also justify the frequency of hearing one of the Kanaloa's electrician's call signs, Calvin Gilbert, come echoing through the relays. On April 4th, 1952, we would attempt to reverse the manifest breakdown and bring the soldiers back. The Adler letter at the relay point is located
A penny for a Whiskey, India, Cena, Hotel.
a penny for a wish, located at the wishing well.
Maggie and Anna tried to bring the soldiers back in the cave.
After stealing equipment from this relay station, Anna and I entered the cave just before dawn to try and communicate directly with the crew of the USS Kanaloa. We successfully tuned in to the source of the temporal tear and spoke, albeit briefly, to Henry Griffin, an SOC sergeant who died on the sub, but the power overwhelmed my dear Anna and she was absorbed into its ridge. All that remains there now is the flickering hue of a partially open gate, a window to a perpendicular space that seems to have augmented the submarine's call. But, of all my regrets, perhaps the deepest is knowing Anna's last vision was of me fleeing from her in terror. Here's another hint for one of the Adler letters in the woods.
A fallen Tango, Romeo, Echo, Echo, now called something else.
A fallen tree, aka this log.
I guess Maggie was the one who had this place turned into a park.
After the fort closed, I used the considerable resources from my father's endowment to buy up most of the land, or influence government officials to declare that which I could not buy protected. I have not been entirely successful, and have watched in horror as a small tourist industry has precariously sprung upon this cursed island. Even the family of one of the sailors who died, Calvin Gilbert, set up a restaurant to cater to inquisitive out-of-towners. I can promise this, though. The museum will never happen, and the beach and caves will be boarded up. The last Adler letter can be found here at the beach.
From top to bottom, under Fina, Tango, Alpha, India, Romeo, Fina.
Under the stairs.
Oh, Maggie says she hopes the notes are found by the correct person. Well, I guess that'll have to be us.
To whoever is finding these notes, understand my hope is that by enshrouding this intelligence in such an obtuse manner, its detection will not discourage most innocent seekers, thereby allowing it to befall the correct person and not the easily distracted military mind nor the typically bewildered excursionist. Do not blame the submarine's crew. I don't believe its passengers, like Henry Griffin, can even understand what has truly happened to them, and you do not have to forgive me for my myriad failures. But please, remember the name, Anna Shea. Know that she did not deserve her fate. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you want to see more of these type of videos. Stay tuned for other games and game hints that I will be posting later on. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Thanks again. See ya.